limitless, for we possess all the qualities that this world without boundaries demands. Youth and drive, diversity and openness, an endless capacity for risk, and a gift for reinvention. My fellow Americans, we are made for this moment, and we will seize it so long as we seize it together.
Don't you be the same.
I apologize for showing up unannounced. I've been trying to call your staff. They won't return my phone calls. So let me ask you, after your comments about the president, do you feel that voters are owed a better explanation than just, I misspoke?
I think that, as I stand by my statement, that I misspoke and I apologize.
Okay, and who are you apologizing to?
I stand by my statement that I misspoke and I apologize.
I apologize. We talk to you all the time. You're a very forthcoming guy. Who's telling you not to talk and to handle it like this?
I stand by my statement that I wrote, as you have, and I misspoke and I apologize.
Was it that you thought it would go over well in Elbert County where folks are very conservative and you'd never say something like that in the suburbs?
I stand by my statement that I misspoke and I apologize.
Is there anything that I can ask you that you'll answer differently?
I stand by my statement that I misspoke and I apologize.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you.
Country cannot succeed when a shrinking few do very well and a growing many barely make it. We, the people, still believe that every citizen deserves a basic measure of security and dignity. We, the people, still believe that our obligations as Americans are not just to ourselves, but to all posterity. We, the people, still believe that enduring security and lasting peace do not require perpetual war. We, the people, declare today that the most evident of truth, that all of us are created equal, is the star that guides us still. Just as it guided our forebears through Seneca Falls and Selma and Stonewall, just as it guided all those men and women, sung and unsung, who left footprints along this great mall, to hear a preacher say that we cannot walk alone, to hear a king proclaim that our individual freedom is inextricably bound to the freedom of every soul on earth.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Google. Oh, we got something to talk to you about, Twitter. What's going on, YouTube and internet listeners all around the world? I am back, fired up, and ready to go. And Jackie is just plain pissed. Oh, yes. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. I am your host, the wild and wonderful Brenda White, coming to you live from the city beautiful Orlando, Florida, where it is 88 degrees and sunny. Yes, let's talk about it. We are Spreaker's U-Voice 2012 award winners for the most informative show. We do keep you informed, and we also bring you some facts, some fun, and some foolishness. And always helping me to keep you informed and making sure that you ain't out there stupid just saying any kind of shit is my co-host, the uppity and well-read Jacqueline Lambert, a.k.a. Miss Uppity Speaks. Jackie, are you there?
You know that I am here, and I am fired up.
Girl, you are more than fired up. You are pissed off. Y'all, she called me about to cry. She called me about to cry because our subject tonight is betraying democracy. And Jackie saw democracy being betrayed, and she went into tears. And she was absolutely furious. As you know, I've been gone about a week as I headed home to my dear friend Donna Grady Creer, Hallelujah 94.9 FM gospel DJ. She's won so many awards, on the board of the Bobby Jones, on the board of the Stellar Award radio show. And they sent her love and condolences from all around the world. BET, everybody. It was the most beautiful home going. And I got back last night a little late. Plane got in about 12:30 or 1. We were only about an hour late. But I got in and I didn't know whether I was going to do the show or not today, because you know how traveling just beats you down. But Jackie called me with about 45 minutes, 30 minutes before the show, and asked me, did I hear the decision that was made today? And I told her no, I had not. And I could hear her voice crumbling, breaking up, as she decided to tell me, what, Jackie, what did the Supreme Court do today?
The Supreme Court has, in essence, struck down the Voting Rights Act. Now, you will hear a lot of people talk about all these different nuances regarding this decision.
Mm-hmm.
But the effect is that as of this moment, we have no protection against voter discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't say that advisedly, because there are people who would disagree with me. Well, you can go to court. Well, you can do this, that, and that. No. Our protections from voter discrimination have been stripped away by these bastards.
Our Supreme Court.
5 motherfuckers on the Supreme Court.
Our Supreme Court. And Jackie, you know, as you told me, I reminded you that I've been talking about this and complaining about this for about the last 3 years on air.
Yes, you have. You have been, yes.
And I've been saying we are not safe here.
That's right.
We are not safe. This law, this amendment is revisited every 25 years or so. And then Congress has to say, yes, this voting rights law, act, whatever, it continues. And they've been signing off on it with no problem. But the Supreme Court, one of their great friends decided to bring it up to the courts again and get it sent on to the Supreme Court to change it. And what has happened has been what I've been talking about, what I've been uneasy about since I've been on the air these past 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
And it has happened. And Jackie was devastated today. And I was exhausted, and I said I wasn't going to do the show. But the minute she told me what the Supreme Court had done, how they had, in many ways, in all sense of the word, reversed this freedom that we had for the past how many years?
Yeah, the protections.
The protections that we had to vote. And I've been telling y'all this could happen because these bastards, those Republicans, hate Barack Obama so badly. And because they can't stand that ass whooping that they got for 8 straight years, that they were going to fix it. And of course, when they saw the statistics that came out, the reports that came out, that black folks and brown folks broke a record for voting. We beat the white folks voting. We beat the monkeys voting. We beat everybody voting. And if they'd just set their asses down and not tried to stop us from voting for Barack Obama, they may have not had the turnout that they did, but we made history. And these Republicans were determined to fix that shit so it doesn't happen again. And here now, it is looking us in the face. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Let's get ready. Jackie is going to talk about, we're talking much about nothing today except this new Supreme Court ruling. about our voting rights. Go ahead, Jackie, please. Good
All right.
Good evening, David
Well,
Capers. Welcome.
Okay, well, just let me lay it out for everybody.
Please.
Okay, the Voting Rights Act was signed by President Johnson in 1965. At that time, largely to protect African Americans from the voting discrimination that they had suffered mostly in the South, in the old Confederacy. And the act, when it was passed, there was a reauthorization written into the act so that it would come before Congress every few years. At first it was 5 years, then it was 15, then it was 25 for reauthorization of the Voting Rights Act. To see, I guess, that these protections were still necessary. Now, the teeth of the Voting Rights Act come through sections 4 and 5. Okay. In Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act, they have a formula that they use to determine which states would be covered by Section 5, which is a pre-clearance requirement, meaning that any changes they want to make to their voting laws has to be approved by the Justice Department before they can be put into effect. And what that does, effectively, is it keeps the discriminatory laws from even making it to the books. So you don't have to go to court to fight a discriminatory law. The Justice Department has the authority to strike it down before it even makes it onto the book. And so this, of course, the consequence of that is to prevent voters being discriminated against. And, of course, what we're talking about is minority voters, people who are black, brown, pink, and purple polka dot. All right.
And Jackie, they've included in that if you're 18, you can go to war, but they don't want you to vote. So they're trying to fix all this shit that they don't like.
Exactly. So anyway, that's what the voting rights law covered, and the two sections that were the biggest that there was the biggest furor over were sections 4 and 5. All right. So what the Supreme Court did, what their decision did today, was they removed the pre-clearance requirement for all those states and counties and cities that were covered under Section 4. So, well, since we think the formula needs to be different, we're just going to strip away all the protections, and you guys are just on your own. And Congress needs to fix this because we told them that they needed to fix this 4 years ago. See, that's their rationale today. So let's just say that there's a pit bull on a leash that wants to rip your throat out. Okay?
Yes.
And the Supreme Court has decided that leash is cruel to that poor pit bull, even though it's keeping your throat from being ripped out. And so we need another kind of leash to put on that pit bull. But until we determine what kind of leash we're going to put on him, we're just going to let him go. And so in the meantime, what happens to you? Your throat gets ripped out. This makes no sense at all.
No sense at all. And it's completely and totally political. They are trying. I think the Republicans know, Jackie, that they are never going to win an election outright again. They have damaged themselves and their reputation so badly that they can see we're never going to win a presidency again. This nation, young people are watching this. We ain't cool. Our hairdos ain't cool. Don't nobody. They don't think we hip like that thing, Barack Obama. And now they all gunning for Hillary Clinton. They want her to win. They all raising the flag and carrying the torch for her. And we have done some pretty disgusting things. We don't want women to have abortions anymore. We don't care if the rapist gets custody of the child. We don't care. They don't care about nothing. And if you want to have an abortion, we're going to probe your putty tat until you just say forget about it.
Well, and the thing about that, too, Brenda, is that, of course, these rules never applied to them.
No.
I'm willing to bet you that if one of these Republicans, their daughter, ends up pregnant through rape or just through her boyfriend.
Oh, she will get an abortion.
Oh, if they determine that she needs to have, especially like if it's one of those boyfriends that they don't approve of, maybe a black or brown one.
Yes.
Of course, their daughter will be able to have a safe and legal abortion, because in the red states, they're outlawing abortions, but you can still get them in New York and California and others,
Yes.
So it'll be like it was
back in the 50s. When they
right,
flew their daughter.
Like it was before Roe v. Wade.
That's right.
That was rich girls got to go to get an abortion.
Okay. Or they got to go stay with
have those babies, or go to a back alley abortionist and possibly die.
That's right. Or rich girls got sent away to have their baby at a school of nuns and then leave the baby and get it adopted. Or they got to go stay with Uncle Freddie, and then Uncle Freddie and them all of a sudden had a baby, and then she can come back home. Well, see, poor folks can't do that.
Exactly.
And so anything to stop us.
What's going on in the Republican Party right now?
Republican Party.
Madness. But what we're talking about today is the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Okay. And so, having explained very briefly what this decision today covered and what it actually does, I wanted to talk very briefly about the dissenting opinion from Justice Ginsburg, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yes.
And I wanted to talk about the concurring opinion of Justice Clarence Thomas.
Okay. You know, that ninja makes me so...
We'll get to that.
Okay. I was about to say, I don't even want to hear his damn opinion, but this is news, and we're going to hear that ninja's opinion. But, Jackie, you know he ruffles my feathers in the wrong way.
Honey, he ruffles mine, too.
Yeah, he is not one of us. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, okay. Justice Ginsburg, in her dissent, made some really excellent points about why the majority opinion is wrong. One of them, which I really liked, she said that striking Section 4 was like getting rid of your umbrella because it has kept you dry in a rainstorm.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. Now, you're in a rainstorm, you got your umbrella up, and you're dry. And
now,
because you're dry, you're going to get rid of that thing.
And now, all of a sudden, I don't need this umbrella no more.
Exactly. I thought that was a very,
well, Jackie, it doesn't get any simpler than that. If you can't understand that, then you just need to go back and start the pre-primer again.
Yeah, okay. But I just want to go over one part of Justice Ginsburg's dissenting opinion, which you're going to love this. Her dissenting opinion is longer than the opinion of the court. Because Justice Ginsburg has something to say, okay?
Okay.
But one of the things that she wrote in her opinion, and this is on page 46 of her opinion for those of you who want to look it up, because of course it's all over the internet, okay? But she says, the number of discriminatory changes blocked or deterred by the pre-clearance requirement suggests that the state of voting rights in the covered jurisdictions would have been significantly different absent this remedy. And then she sets out some examples of the big changes that were blocked in the years leading up to the 2006 reauthorization. Okay, you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. In 1995, Mississippi sought to reenact a dual voter registration system, which was initially enacted in 1892 to disenfranchise black voters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was blocked by pre-clearance. Following the 2000 census, the city of Albany, Georgia, proposed a redistricting plan that the Department of Justice found to be designed with the purpose to limit and retrogress the increased black voting strength in the city as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hold on a second. I'm just scrolling down here.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, that's where our friend that owns the paper, Dr. Marshall, keeps he keeps holy hell going on them with his paper because that's right there where he
okay. I'm sorry, Brenda.
That's okay.
Of course, I'm scrolling down.
You know, we all understand the computer when we're trying to read and when we're trying to scroll.
There's another one. In 2001, hold on a second. Here we go.
All right. But no, we all understand how the computer works and when we have to scroll and when it jumps and leaves us where we were reading and takes that spot away. Okay. So we are waiting on you. You are listening to Let's Talk About It. I am the wild and wonderful Brenda White, and the uppity and well-read Jacqueline Lambert is on fire today because of the Supreme Court's ruling. And as Jackie's subject so well states it, betraying democracy. This is what the Supreme Court has done to us today. And Jackie called me just about in tears. And so this is our basic subject tonight for the show. We are talking about this whole Supreme Court ruling.
Yeah, okay, so here we go.
Okay.
So in 2001, the mayor and an all-white 5-member board of aldermen in Kilmichael, Mississippi, abruptly canceled the town's election after an unprecedented number of African-American candidates announced they were running for office. The DOJ required an election, and the town elected its first black mayor and 3 black aldermen.
Mm-hmm.
This was in 2001, okay? Mm-hmm. In 2006, a court in Texas attempted to redraw a congressional district to reduce the strength of Latino voters. Mm-hmm. Okay? In 2003, after African Americans won a majority of seats on the school board for the first time in history in Charleston County, South Carolina, they proposed an at-large voting mechanism for the board.
Mm-hmm.
And the proposal was made without consulting with anybody, and it was found to be an exact replica of an earlier voting scheme that a federal court had determined violated the Voting Rights Act.
Mm-hmm.
In the city of Millen, Georgia, they proposed to delay the election in a majority black district. Okay.
We just ain't gonna have
the idea that black folks might get elected.
Jackie, we just gonna delay this vote.
They were delaying this vote. They were going to delay it for 2 years and leave that district, the black folks, without any representation in the council. For 2 years.
Jackie.
Okay, and this is one of my personal favorites right here, okay? In 2004, Waller County, Texas, threatened to prosecute 2 black students after they announced their intention to run for office.
I'm sorry, they did what?
They threatened to prosecute 2 black students
for announcing
they were running for office. Yes.
Are you crazy? Are you reading some crazy stuff? What?
No. The county then attempted to reduce the availability of early voting in that election at polling places near a historically black university.
Jackie, some of this stuff.
Okay, now, and Brenda, these are just a few examples of the kind of crap.
But this stuff is outrageous, Jackie. It's mind-blowing.
Yes, and this is stuff, you notice the dates. in the 1990s, in the early 2000s, the one that I just talked about, where they were threatening to prosecute somebody for running for office. I've never heard of such a thing. That was 2004.
I've never heard of such a thing either, Jackie, and I never heard that story. That is amazing.
Yes. Okay.
We know they have no shame, Jackie, but what's going to be the charge if you brought these two young black men?
Oh, black folks running for office?
That's the charge. Men just running for office. Oh, and can't you just see the judge saying, okay, bring in the jury. You have been found guilty
of being black.
And having the audacity
That's right.
even attempt to run for office. 10 years in prison. Life without parole. You are a danger to the community.
Yes.
Jackie, you know, I'm accused of being very much like our grandmother, your great-grandmother. I'm accused of having things come up, come out, say what I mean what I say.
Yes.
And that is very true. I accept that. But even I sometimes can be baffled and shocked. And that is one of them. I've never heard of such foolishness in my life. Now, surely had they convicted these young men of such a crime, such a crime, surely that one would have made its way to the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no qualms about packing our courts up with ridiculous bullshit.
Yeah, that's true.
Jackie, I want to tell you that David Capers, as he came into the chat room as the show started, he said, wow, he was just in time to hear Jackie cuss.
Oh, and I need to apologize to everybody because I was just out of line when it started.
And we want y'all to know that if anyone is offended by that, please see our attorney. His name, Jackie?
Algonquin J. Calhoun.
Yes, Algonquin J. Calhoun. Please see him, work it out. He'll settle it with you, whether it be for money or fish or a can of beans or whatever.
Yes, but
a fish sandwich.
This is just the most outrageous thing. And what I have been thinking about today, I'm going to tell everybody the reason that I have been so upset is because I think about all of the blood, tears, suffering, and death that had to happen before the Voting Rights Act was enacted.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about all of the young people, not just black people, lots of different people, all of the people who marched and were beaten and hosed with fire hoses, the people who were murdered and tortured, this is what we're talking about. All the blood that has been shed for future generations to have this right, and for 5 men on the Supreme Court to so blithely wipe that away. It just breaks my heart. Seriously, my heart is broken today.
Jackie, I feel the exact same way about this, and of course we would. We've come from the same family. We were taught to always stand up for your rights, fight for your rights. Don't cheat nobody. Don't be a liar. And here, as you said, so much blood, sweat, tears, bodies have fought and died, fought and died for this right that we thought this fight, this one, was over. But the way that they set it up years ago, and when I found that out, and I found this out about 30 years ago, I've always feared that. And every opportunity that this conversation was brought up about our voting rights, I've always let people know, but they can change that at any time. Now, their God-given voting rights have always been there.
Mm-hmm.
Ours got to have special tags to it. And here we are today facing this very thing. And as you said to me when you called me today, Aunt Brenda, you've been saying this for a very long time. I had hoped that I would not see it come to fruition, but here it is. Yeah. And yes, Jackie, it is a heartbreaker because we've already carried signs and walked the streets 40 years ago for this thing.
It looks like we'll be carrying signs and
walking the streets again. Now, Jackie, when is the March on Washington? Because I'm thinking that I need to be there too.
Listen, sweetie, I'm way out here in California, but I'm sure that this is happening in August. Mm-hmm. And, I know that I need to get my sexy body there with my baby.
So I think I'm going to start saving cans. Get myself ready for any extra money.
We gotta go.
Yeah, but I need to be there. It's something that I feel the same way about this, Jack, as I felt about going to my good friend, veteran gospel radio personality Donna Greer's funeral services. Mm-hmm. And it was something to behold. And I feel the same way about this march on Washington. We've got some issues, and we need to show up and show out in a peaceful way.
That's right. Well, on August the 28th of this year is when this was the 50th anniversary commemorating the March on Washington. Mm-hmm. But of course now this takes on completely new dimensions. Mm-hmm. Completely new dimensions because of what the Supreme Court did today. Mm-hmm. And just like the people in Ohio and the people in Florida and the people in Pennsylvania stood in line for 8, 10, 12, 14 hours to vote.
Yes.
That same kind of determination we need to bring now. And I just want to let everybody know that before you start saying that Brenda and I are going nuts for no good reason. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
The Attorney General of the state of Texas has already announced that they're going to bring back their discriminatory voter ID law. Mm-hmm. Now, this Section 4 has been gutted from the Voting Rights Act. Now, for those of you who don't remember, this law that they proposed in the state of Texas would have prevented veterans with their veteran ID card from voting. Mm-hmm. But if you had a gun license or a license to carry a concealed weapon, you could vote. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would not have allowed people with student IDs to vote. That was not adequate ID. And they came up with this whole system to have people to get what is now a voter ID card that would have cost them money and that people would have had to present a zillion documents.
And that most courts ruled that it would put a unnecessary hardship on people.
Yes.
I don't understand.
Especially when what makes us eligible to vote is for us to be American citizens that are 18 years of age or older. Mm-hmm. Those are the requirements to vote that are on the books. Mm-hmm. All right? All this other shit is just that shit. Mm-hmm.
Well, Jackie, David Capers just wrote in the chat room that we could ride together to Washington to prepare ourselves to march on the mall. And I want to say to folks right now, we need to act like you going on spring break or something. Just like all y'all get your money together and even tell your parents lies where you're going and know you're going somewhere. You need to take that same vigor, that same power that you gather to tell your mom all these lies to get to a vacation to Daytona Beach.
So sick.
We need to do this and prepare ourselves, y'all, to go to Washington in March.
Absolutely. You know what I was thinking, Brenda?
What?
What we can do is we can fly out to the City Beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
meet up with you, and we'll just all go together.
That's right. Get our caravan, make some sandwiches, get a cooler.
That's right.
And we need to take this thing real serious and not
Seriously.
be talking about what I'm gonna wear. Get you some spandex. Big girls not. Okay, big girls, you got something to fit your wham. Get you some spandex, some blue jeans, some capris. We are not going for a show. We're going here to march and stand before these people and let them see
Yes.
how many people you are pissing off.
Yeah.
We need
And
to
it's not just that.
represent.
It's how many people you are
disenfranchised, and how many people, and even if it's 2 million of us, that's just going to be a fraction of, if you think we going to take this sitting down. We are not.
Mm-hmm.
And I reiterate, we going to show up and show out in a peaceful way.
Yes.
Just as they did when Martin Luther King spoke his famous I Have a Dream speech at the Lincoln Memorial on the Mall in Washington. So, y'all, I think we really need to take this serious, because you can sit here and act like, you know, now, child, I'm going to the Bahamas. After a while, this is just the...
After a while, you're going to be deported to the Bahamas.
Thank you. This is just the beginning of what the Republicans want to do to us. They want to take away all rights.
Yes.
They really are working on sending you back. I don't put it past them at all, Jackie, that if they could get slavery back on the books. You know, there are some states where it is against the law for white and black people to congregate, to marry, to get together, to ride together. And they didn't take those laws off the books.
No, even though just like how earlier this year, Mississippi has finally ratified the 14th Amendment.
Uh-huh.
It has finally ratified, the amendment that ended slavery in the United States.
Okay, Jackie, just did it.
It just, that was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, just did it last year, a few months ago.
Yeah.
And so, you were wondering to yourself, and it was a white man, I believe, that discovered it and brought it to their attention. They knew, but you see, Jackie, as long as a law is a law in a state and it stays on the book, you're going to get somebody gutsy enough that says, yeah, well, you know.
Even though this is against federal law, it's on our books.
It's on our books. And if we have to use it, we'll use it one day. So just leave it there. But some white man recognized or found this law, and he had to go to a full-fledged, all-out fight with people writing letters and stuff to get them to take that off their books or to ratify it.
Yes.
It's amazing, Jackie.
Brenda, actually, what happened was that there were these two scholars that found it.
That's right.
And they pointed it out to the Attorney General, and they went ahead and got it done.
Yeah.
But it was horribly embarrassing.
It was horribly embarrassing.
I wanted to...
And he said he didn't know it. He was glad to do it. Yeah, y'all know.
Yeah, I know. But I also want to say about the opinion today, I just wanted to read a little bit of Judge Clarence Thomas's concurring opinion.
My husband. All right. Go ahead. You know.
I'm sorry. And the reason that I want to read a little bit of this opinion is because Clarence Thomas, the only black person on the court, does not feel that this opinion goes far enough, even though it eviscerates.
That ninja doesn't think he's black, Jackie.
I beg your pardon?
That ninja does not think he's black.
Brenda, I really don't know what Clarence Thomas thinks.
He thinks, listen, although he benefited and accepted all the benefits of the affirmative action.
Of affirmative action and voting rights, you bet.
Yeah. Now, he seems to think that, hell, I could have made it without that. I didn't need... And you can't tell me that Clarence Thomas had it easy coming up in his day.
No, he did not, because his folks were super dirt poor.
Yes, they were. And some man here found, is turning his mother's house or the factory she worked in or something to some...
this mill that she worked in.
Yeah, to some historical site. And I think he is also the man who sends Judge Thomas on vacation trips and stuff. You're not supposed to accept those kinds of gifts when you're... Yeah, that's another story. Go ahead, Jackie. Let's talk about Judge Thomas, my husband.
So this is what Justice Thomas writes. I join the court's opinion in full, but write separately to explain that I would find Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act unconstitutional as well. The court's opinion sets forth the reasons. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 employed extraordinary measures to address an extraordinary problem. In the face of unremitting and ingenious defiance of citizens' constitutionally protected right to vote, Section 5 was necessary to give effect to the 15th Amendment in particular regions of the country. Though Section 5's preclearance requirement represents a sharp departure from basic principles of federalism and the equal sovereignty of the states, and even though I'm not an attorney, I really disagree with that, but we can get back to equal sovereignty later.
Okay.
The court upheld the measure against early constitutional challenges because it was necessary at the time to address voting discrimination where it persisted on a pervasive scale. He goes on to say that the decision went on to say that today our nation has changed.
You damn right about that.
Okay. Wait. Today our nation has changed.
Mm-hmm.
And, as the court explains, voter turnout and registration rates now approach parity. Blatantly discriminatory evasions of federal federal decrees are rare, and minority candidates hold office in unprecedented levels. Now, Brenda, we have seen some pretty blatant defiance of federal law, haven't we?
Absolutely.
I mean, recently, haven't we seen that?
Absolutely.
In the case of voting rights. But now the Supreme Court says that these are rare and that there are minority candidates who hold office. Well,
and the only reason that they do,
that's right,
is because of the laws that we had to put on the books.
Okay.
Otherwise, your ass would still be having to try to figure out how many jelly beans in the jar to get your to have the opportunity to vote. And I say that funny in a funny way, but that was one of the stipulations, along with reciting the Constitution.
Okay,
you want to vote along with a toll tax.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jackie.
Okay, let me go on now. As the court aptly notes, no one can fairly say that the record shows anything approaching the pervasive, flagrant, widespread, and rampant discrimination that faced Congress in 1965.
And why doesn't it, Clarence? Well, I think we are facing it, but go ahead, Jackie.
Okay. Indeed, circumstances in the covered jurisdictions can no longer be characterized as exceptional or unique. The extensive pattern of discrimination that led the court to previously uphold Section 5 as enforcing the 15th Amendment no longer exists.
Jackie, I think Clarence Thomas got one of them Stepford Wives chips put in his ass. You know what I'm talking about?
While the court claims issue no holding on Section 5 itself, its own opinion compellingly demonstrates that Congress has failed to justify current burdens with a record demonstrating current needs.
I'm going to say it again.
Leaving the inevitable conclusion unstated, the court needlessly prolongs the demise of that provision. For the reasons stated in the court's opinion, I would find Section 5 unconstitutional.
Again, I say, I believe that Clarence Thomas and got one of them Stepford wives chips put in his ass.
Brenda, I have no idea.
All of the things that he cited was because people have marched, bled, and died, and these laws were implemented so that it would be unjust and a criminal offense if you did these things to us because of the color of our skin. And I say to you, Jackie, today, with all the watermelon fried chicken pictures on a $5 bill with Obama's picture, I say racism is alive and well, and you have to keep these motherfuckers in check.
Yes.
By keeping those laws on the books. If I offended anybody, I don't give a damn.
Oh, yeah.
See our attorney.
Yeah.
What's his name, Jackie?
I also want to say, too, Brandon, that one of the things I'm looking at, because I'm looking at these opinions on the CNN site.
Okay.
They have a link.
Yes.
They have comments below it.
Mm-hmm.
And, girl, these Republicans are still talking about people voting multiple times.
the voter fraud that doesn't exist, Jackie, that voter fraud.
Yeah, that voter fraud that they keep getting arrested for trying.
Yeah, that they keep getting arrested for trying. And when they researched this, now the Bush administration researched this thing for 8 or 10 years, and they found out of all of the millions of cases of voter fraud, they found 86. I mean,
you mean out of all of the tens of millions of votes that were cast?
All of the tens of millions of votes that were cast.
86, Brenda,
was Republicans.
It wasn't multiple voting and stuff like that. It was the Republicans were just like the Republicans are the people who always keep getting busted for voter fraud.
Yes, going to jail and shit. Now, Jackie, wait a minute. Didn't they say, Jackie, that aren't they just saying now that we don't have those problems anymore? But it was just last year and a couple of years before that, when the race for the presidency was going on, that they were screaming that there were voter fraud problems. They were screaming it. And now they're saying we don't have this problem anymore. Mm-hmm. So why do we need these laws? But they were swearing on their mama's grave last year.
Yes.
And 4-5 years prior to that, as they got rid of Acorn, and they still claiming Acorn helped Obama win again.
I know.
No, y'all got rid of that. Y'all don't give Acorn no more tax dollars. Acorn folded, dogs. But as they continue,
that's right.
Yeah, they continue to try to think of why they got their ass whooped like they did. Although they know why they got their ass whooped like they did, they just ain't got over that ass whooping. They kind of like that boy who's messing with Tiger Woods. He just didn't get over that ass whooping Tiger put on him. So he won't. Again, it's a chicken and watermelon. Invite him to dinner. You know, y'all need to give it up. But for all this whining and crying that there was no voter registration fraud, you're right, there wasn't. That's because there were laws in place and they caught your ass. And so out of all the tens of millions of people that voted, the Bush administration found 86 problems, 86 cases of voter fraud.
Yes.
And
the point I keep making. But even then, those 86 cases were not the kind of voter fraud that they keep claiming exists.
And then when all these beautiful black and brown and green and white folks that think like the rest of us voted Barack Obama in again, they said, okay, we got to, they got their ass whooped with Obamacare, and Michelle Bachmann continues to claim that they've overturned it.
Yeah.
She's a whole different case of, I don't know if they got
so we could get on her.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if they got medication for somebody like that.
The whole point of this is simply that because the Voting Rights Act has worked so well,
they need to stop it from working.
The Supreme Court has decided that they need to get rid of it. And all of these 5-4 decisions from the Supreme Court, Justice Roberts expressed a concern during the time of the Affordable Care Act case that the people were losing confidence in their Supreme Court, that the Supreme Court is being viewed more as a political arm. But that is what it has become. And it went in that direction really hard in the year 2000 when they appointed George W. Bush president. And it's been downhill since.
Ever since.
Yes.
Along with the whole damn country. And as Barack Obama continues to have record-breaking, making history with continued job growth, 38, 40 months in a row. The Wall Street continues to break records. The Dow closed today at 15,000, 17,000. They are continuing to make money like crazy. And they're continuing now to come up with these what the flock ever fees for what a house cost.
Yes.
So now that the housing market is back, they're starting again. The house that was worth $200,000 is now $500,000. They just throw these numbers out of their ass, y'all. And then if it happens again, people find themselves underwater with a house that they bought for $500,000 that now is on the market for $150,000. Oh my God! They don't learn anything.
No.
But the more that Barack Obama continues to make this country slowly but surely tick back up, they continue. Their job is to try to make it tick back down.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute hatred in the worst kind of way. We are so tired of this, but I'm telling you,
people. And the thing that's so very sad about it, Brenda, is that we are all being made to suffer.
We're all being made to suffer.
Because of these folks' proclivities. And it's really funny. I heard some talking heads on MSNBC today, Thomas and Justice Alito, that they obviously have issues, but the Supreme Court is no place for them without their issues.
Okay. Whoever that is, my phone has blocked them, so obviously I blocked them, and we don't want to receive your call. You can hang up now. Stop interrupting Jackie. Yes, Jack.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brenda.
No, you. I was listening to you.
No, but, I think of the Roberts Court. I was just looking, at, who was the Chief Justice when the Dred Scott case was decided. And that was Justice Roger P. Taney, who was born to slaveholding parents in the South, who became Chief Justice. And during his time on the courts, some of the ugliest decisions the Supreme Court ever made were made during that time.
Okay.
The Dred Scott case and other things, but he was, of course, certainly in favor of slavery, and he made sure that his court did everything they could to uphold.
Jackie, I want to tell our listeners and our people, You all had better not sleep on this. They are not finished.
Oh, not by a long shot, sweetie.
They're trying to put themselves in a position which I fully believe will backfire. But they're trying to put themselves in a position to fight Hillary Clinton. Now, they outsmarted themselves with Susan Rice. They assumed that Barack Obama was going to make her the Secretary of State to replace Hillary Clinton. And they started in on her with this talking points bullshit and la 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 la. She was simply the one chosen to go out and hit the circuit, Sunday morning talk shows that wanted to know about Benghazi. The CIA Republican General Petraeus was the head of the CIA. He wrote those talking points along with he and his advisors or colleagues or whatever that does this stuff, and they sent them to the White House. After a couple of changes, the White House called Susan Rice, gave the talking points to her and said, okay, make these rounds. News shows want to know. People want to know. Say, that's all she did. 199 times it has been proven that she did nothing wrong. She simply read the talking points given to her. Now, General Petraeus, being the head of the CIA and in charge of this whole thing, would report to Hillary Clinton, but they weren't telling Hillary blow by blow because he was supposed to be able to handle this. And now Susan Rice, Barack has whooped that ass again, as while they were just set on making sure she was Secretary of State, Barack has made her his national security advisor.
Yes.
And ain't a damn thing they can do about it.
Yeah, but back to what we were talking about.
Well, I had a point there, but when you interrupted me.
I know.
I always have a point, Jackie. I just tell my stories like Rachel Maddow. We have to start, with our little... And by now, after being my co-host for 2 years, you ought to know that. But you keep on talking that talk to me.
I keep working. I'm going to keep
talking
working.
That monkey talk to me. That ain't going to make me stop.
I'm going to keep working, but I just want to...
I had a point when you interrupted me, but go ahead on.
Okay, I just wanted to say about Justice Taney. The reason that I keep remembering this guy in the Dred Scott case is because he is the one who said that the authors of the Constitution viewed black folks as so far inferior that they had no rights which the white man was bound to respect. And that is the quote. That is the thing that always sticks with me.
And Jackie, you got some like Louis Gohmert and the rest that believe that shit right now.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Jillian, the co-host to the co-host. To the co-host. Jillian, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar Anderson is in the chat room with y'all right now. So if
hi, Jillian. Hi.
Jackie and I can't type as much because, well, I can't. Because you hear my nails clickety-clickety-click on the keyboard as the show is being broadcast. But Jillian will certainly give you some great explanations for any of your questions and your comments right there in the chat room. But yes, Jackie, we have Louis Gohmert and we also have a new GOP representative that's insane.
Well, Brenda, there are just so many. But I have to just say that I am just really concerned about this decision with the Supreme Court today.
Jackie,
believe me, they're coming.
You and our listeners should be concerned, and I've told our listeners many times that Jackie and I are political psychics. And I saw this one on the horizon 2 years ago.
Well, Brenda, I have to tell you honestly that I pretty much figured that the Congress would never go there.
Uh-huh.
All right? Because
you got a different Congress now.
Run for office.
We didn't have the Tea Party back then when that...
But Brenda, even with the Tea Party, reauthorization of the Voting Rights Act, I just didn't see the Congress going there.
Shit, I did.
But the Supreme Court, I'm just floored. And the thing that really floors me is just like I said before. The decision makes no fucking sense.
Ooh, Jackie cussed again.
No sense. Because by their estimation, let me just put it to you another way. Okay? So if they are going through this equal sovereignty thing, meaning that all states are treated the same, and what that meant in its original context was states being admitted into the union. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to argue that point. Like I said, I'm not an attorney. I'm just a person who reads the law.
Yes, Jackie, and in your 20,000 books that you have read, I understood secession to be treason against the law.
How did we get to secession?
Well, because this is part. You just said you were talking about the treason stuff. How is it that they continue?
I was talking about equal sovereignty.
Yeah, how is it that these southern states continue to call for secession? There's nothing done or said about it. They don't believe that they're serious or what? Isn't secession against the law?
Brenda, I really want to give.
I do. I know that, Jackie. I just want you to answer the question and quit talking that talk to me.
Secession and talk of secession is treason, according to the Constitution.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, go on.
Okay. They're quoting equal sovereignty. So, in my opinion, if they want to apply the equal sovereignty doctrine to this, then instead of taking away voter protections, it means to me that Section 4 should apply to all 50 states.
Meaning?
Now, why didn't they go there? That in every state in the union, before they can change voting laws, it has to be pre-cleared with the Justice Department.
That's what Section 4 says?
Section 4 provides a formula by which certain states are required to do pre-clearance with the Justice Department.
Yeah, and those are the states that...
But every state.
And the reason they say that about those states, y'all, are because they can't be trusted. States like Mississippi.
Well, but...
States like South Carolina.
Most of the cases that come before the Justice Department that require pre-clearance are from those states.
Yeah, because
from Texas, they are from Mississippi, they are from Alabama, they are from Georgia.
That's because those states are... It's basically referring to the Deep South, where those bastards...
The whole Confederacy,
yeah. Where racism runs rampant, where slavery existed.
But now we have seen Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Kansas. We're seeing this stuff. They tried it in Wisconsin, but the state courts just slapped that crap down in Wisconsin.
Yeah, but what I said was that law was made predominantly...
Right.
For these racist ass states. But we're seeing it.
But my point is that we are seeing everywhere the Republicans are in charge.
I'm sorry.
Start seeing these voter discrimination laws.
This thing that's happening.
Trying to cut people who are not white Republicans out of the process.
Jackie, this thing that happened in Michigan is breathtaking.
Isn't it though?
It's breathtaking. And thank God for Rachel Maddow, who keeps on it and keeps continuing to tell. I mean, the voters elected their black mayor, and they just said he ain't got no power no more.
Oh, yeah.
They have gone in. Also, Jackie, while I was away, I didn't get very much news because, you have a lot of family and friends around day and night. And I heard something about homes burning in Michigan, that people were just setting them on fire, the abandoned houses and such, and that they had something like over 10,000 abandoned homes that had been burned. I don't know who's burning them, the Republicans or if the people that are mad as hell and won't take it anymore, with them coming over, taking over their whole freaking state.
Well, and the really smooth thing about Michigan, though, they've done, which is just absolutely charming, is that now about 60% of the black population in the state of Michigan lives under a dictatorship.
Yes. And they're expecting them to accept it and sit down and shut the fuck up. Don't y'all do it, Michigan. Michigan is fighting. And just like the NAACP president in South Carolina, is it South Carolina or North Carolina, Jackie, where Moral Monday is?
It's North Carolina.
North Carolina. I am so proud of this minister leading these people on this fight, not accepting these rules that their Congress, that their House of Representatives and Senators in the state of North Carolina has made against them. I mean, they are on a course for taking away all rights if it's going to make them.
And the Supreme Court has helped them today.
And the Supreme Court has helped them.
Very good about themselves.
Yes. Now, I understand that our loyal governor is trying to he was about to undo some of his doing with our voting rights here, but I don't know what that means now that the Supreme Court has stood by them with their bullshit.
Yeah, well, that's going to be very interesting to see what happens next.
Jackie,
this is a can of worms. This is going to be a real mess, and we're going to have to be out in the streets, and I may get arrested this summer.
Yeah, Jackie, Dave wrote, LOL, now ladies, I know you're mad as hell, but stay calm. They want to start another civil war. That's exactly what they want to do, and these bastards really think that they can beat the U.S. government with their 200 stockpile of weapons.
Yeah, whatever.
Somebody said
that the thing that I want to say in reference to that is simply this: the Civil War has been raging now since the election of Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
And it just keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And even though there has not been, even though the southern states and these people haven't, put forth their articles of secession and built their army, this war is certainly being fought.
Yeah, right now they just come out and every now and then one of them from Texas or Arkansas or somewhere yells it out. We ought to start secession, and they're just doing that to see how many folks will say yeah with the sticks and come follow.
The thing about it is simply this: is that if black people, if minorities were not participating in the electoral process, they wouldn't care.
They wouldn't care.
Because we are participating in greater and greater numbers. And then the other thing that is yet to be seen is, will black folks come out and vote as heavily in future elections? I say yes.
I say yes
is because of what these people are doing to keep black folks from voting.
Yeah, Jackie.
A lot of people voted in 2012 just because them bastards were so busy. There were folks out there trying to keep them from voting.
Yeah, and stayed in line. The lady that was 100 or 103, she stayed in line. Joy Reid told that story, and it was
Desaline. Isn't that a great name?
Desaline, yes. This was the woman that Barack invited to the State of the Union address, was it not?
Yes.
And when she came home, Jackie, she cut a jig on
on
the sidewalk. What a great story. Yeah, they made if they'd have just stayed still and not tried to rig the elections. And as they were trying
they cannot help themselves. They cannot help
themselves. They can't leave well enough alone. We wouldn't have made history as we did and have more black folks turning out to vote than ever before in history.
Yes.
Granny used to say, you can kill us, but you can't eat us.
Yes.
I said, well, they might could eat us, but it ain't going to taste so good.
No, I won't taste good.
Okay, it ain't going to taste so good. Now, Jackie and I are only doing an hour and a half today.
Oh, I thought we were doing an hour and 15 minutes.
No, because
before we went on the air, I told you.
Yes, well, you can't monkey talk to me now. We
I'm not talking about you.
We have 15.
That in 5 minutes I'm out of here.
Okay, y'all here? Talking back to me? Talking that monkey talk to me. I'm the boss here. Okay, so anyway, baby, I forgot. I thought it was 1 hour and a half. But Jackie and I said we had to go on. Now, y'all hear us fussing. We do this every day. And sometimes we get her husband involved, too. And we have ourselves a laugh and good time. So don't y'all pay much attention to me and Jackie fussing. We family. But so since Jackie has to go in a short, let me... we were only going to talk about the Supreme Court ruling today because that's what had Burr up Jackie's ass. And she was mad. You know you felt that way. She woke me up. She was so damn mad. We got to go on. We got to say something. I was not going to do the show today because I was jet lagged out. But we had to come on and we had to talk about this. So now... we're going to be talking about this every damn week, right, Jackie?
Oh, every single week.
Until Dave and Jackie and I and the dog, what's his name? What's Romney's dog name?
Oh, Seamus.
All get in the Jeep and head to Washington for the March on Washington with all these issues that we got to see. Martin Luther King got to deal with. Martin Luther King said unjust laws are just that. They are unjust laws and they are deserving of being broken. So we don't intend to take this voting rights mess that they put on us and just sit there and say, okay, well, Mr. John gave it to us and we got to accept it. Hell no, Mr. John. And
we're not gonna be like Clarence Thomas.
That's right.
Master show be good to us.
Master show is good to us. And he's such a selfish asshole. You know, I got my affirmative action rights, and I got through law school and shit. But the rest of you ninjas don't deserve that. Yeah. They ain't treating us like they used to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because no one is blatantly trying to contravene the law.
No.
Oh, I mean,
and ain't nobody messing with your voting rights. Ain't nobody messing with your voting rights. Now, I just answered my son's call on my cell phone and kept talking to let him know I'm on the radio. What does he do? He hears me, he hangs up, and then he begins to call the house. You are dead meat, Dennis Winston. Okay, so we are wrapping this show up. We're glad that y'all liked what you heard, because me and Jackie had to fuss. Jackie cried today. She was so damn upset. She cried over this ruling. So now let me not leave y'all without a Negro Please and the dumbass comment of the week. Jackie doesn't know who I've chosen.
I know. I'm waiting to hear.
It was just on my mind, and I thought, oh, that's perfect. Even though Jackie and I wanted to talk about this voting rights stuff, we have got to have our Negro Please champion and the dumbass comment of the week, which he gets both. Fascinating. Of course, he's a Republican. GOP representative speaks up for masturbating fetuses. They feel pleasure. Why wouldn't they also feel pain? This is what he had to say on trying to stop abortion. Okay?
Lord have mercy.
Y'all, just hang on a minute. My dear darling son, I will be off of the air in 2 minutes, and I'll call you right back, okay? I'm live. I love you. Hang up now. Okay, so last week we saw Representative Trent Franks reviving the Todd Aiken legitimate rape argument. But now one of Frank's Republican colleagues, I beg your pardon, Republican colleagues, may have gone even further to defend the 20-week abortion ban making this its way through the House. During a House Rules Committee debate on the bill, Representative Michael Burgess, Republican of where? The great state of Texas, where they just grow them ignorant down there. They got a chamber they just put their asses in and thump them with that Stedford Wives stupid, what do you call them things? Insert
the microchip.
Microchip. Thank you, Jackie. They got to be putting a microchip in them. You just can't be born ignorant like this. Representative Michael Burgess, Republican of Texas, said he's seen 15-week-old male fetuses with their hands between their legs, pleasuring themselves. Oh, hallelujah. Pleasuring themselves. So he asked, why shouldn't we think they also feel pain? Oh, somebody come
Brenda, did you see Bill Maher's show?
No, I haven't seen it yet, Jackie.
He did a takeoff on that was absolutely hilarious, because he was saying, if male fetuses are masturbating, what are they masturbating to?
And what a little old pervert Burgess is to be. How many? Is he a doctor?
Brenda.
How many? What do they call them? Ultrasounds has he seen with this going? Jackie, I'm a woman, and I've never.
Wait. Listen, I got another one for you. A state representative in Texas who authored this draconian abortion bill that they just passed today.
Yes.
She was on the floor saying that rape victims should not be given an exception, because rape victims go to the emergency rooms and they get a rape kit, and that cleans her out.
Yes. Okay, Jackie. We got to add that as the dumbass commenter. We got to tie with Representative Republican from Texas. Yeah, that too was the dumbest.
And for a woman to be that ignorant is beyond me.
Okay. Yeah, Jackie, she did say it, and I saw her say it coming out of her mouth. That rape cleans you out. It's just, it was worse than Todd Aiken thinking that if we're raped, our body can shut that whole thing down.
Oh yeah, that's
shut it down.
Route. And it's sort of like, woman, the cops use rape kits to collect forensic evidence.
Listen, Jackie, let me just read these last two very short paragraphs about Mr. Burgess. This is a subject I do know something about. That's what he said. Burgess, a former OBGYN, also was a doctor. Okay, who says he's delivered thousands of babies, began. There is no question in my mind that a baby at 20 weeks after conception can feel pain. He has argued that the limit of 20 weeks on Congressman Frank's bill is far too late, and believes it should come down to 15 or 16 weeks. You watch a sonogram of a 15-week baby, and they have moments that are purposeful, he continued. They stroke their face. Should have been faces. If they're a male baby, they may have their hand between their legs. I mean, they feel pleasure. Why is it so hard to think that they could feel pain? Sometimes we have to be a voice for the voiceless, Burgess concluded. I know they enjoying themselves. I know they're masturbating. I know they feel pleasure. Oh,
they are so sick.
And with that, Reverend Burgess, and this is one of those times, members, that we got to be the voice for the voiceless. Can't let them little boys grow to 20 weeks and then they start masturbating and feeling pleasure. Jackie, we have some absolute fools.
Yes, we do. The whole world sees these fools too. That's what's so sad.
And what I want to ask him, Jackie, as Roseanne Barr said that when she was 6 months old, she remembered her father coming to her crib and raping her over and over again. And 10 years later, after she wrote this book, told all these lies about her daddy, she said that she lied. Came back on Oprah and said that she lied. I knew that she was lying.
Knew she was lying.
I can't remember when I was 1. I can't remember nothing about being in my mama's womb. I have very little memories of when I was 5.
Yes.
Now, if it is devastating enough, maybe it stays with you. I do have one short memory of a fire. And my standing in my little white panties that my mama made for me. And I could see this fire. And that always stayed with me. And I asked my mother, why do I keep having these memories? And Mom said, because it happened. She said, our home burned when you were 2. And your sister Jeannie took all of you younger kids across the street to Granny's house. And y'all watched it from that front door. And I had that vision. And I said, well, I guess that was amazing or traumatizing enough for me. I never forgot that. That's the only memory I have of 2. I have one memory of when I was about 3 at Antioch and on Easter Sunday, and my part was his head and dad of the song. I remember that. That stuck with me. I was excited about that. But nothing much more than that jacket do I remember. So he knows. Now, how does he know? I want to ask him. Here's my point. I just wanted to ask him, did he remember when he was 20 weeks masturbating? Because I'm sure he's a little pervert.
Brenda, I have to go.
Oh, yes, you do. Okay, it is. Okay, you have been listening to Let's Talk About It, Spreaker's U-Boys 2012 Award for the most informative show. I am the wild and wonderful Brenda White, your host, and your co-host, Jacqueline. Jacqueline, Miss the Well and Red Jacqueline Lambert, aka Miss Uppity Speak, and then Jillian, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar Anderson down in Australia. We are so glad that you joined us. We had to cut us 30 minutes today, but we will be back. Everybody's back in swing. We will be back with 2 hours of the show next Tuesday night. We thank you so much for joining us. We love you. We're out. We believe here at Let's Talk About It that, what do we believe, Jack?
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
And we also believe, free your mind, honey, and your ass will follow. Thank you for joining us. We are out.
Everywhere you go, you see it in the eyes, feel it in the touch of a stranger's hand, in the voices of the children, in a language that we all understand.
Understand that our country cannot succeed when a shrinking few do very well and a growing many barely make it. We, the people, still believe that every citizen deserves a basic measure of security and dignity. We, the people, still believe that our obligations as Americans are not just to ourselves, but to all posterity. We, the people, still believe that enduring security and lasting peace do not require perpetual war. We, the people, declare today that the most evident of truths, that all of us are created equal, is the star that guides us still. Just as it guided our forebears through Seneca Falls and Selma and Stonewall, just as it guided all those men and women, sung and unsung, who left footprints along this great mall, to hear a preacher say that we cannot walk alone, to hear a king proclaim that our individual freedom is inextricably bound to the freedom of every soul on earth.